Today you're going to learn about 0 as an exponent and negative exponents. Just remember certain parts of the power is you have a base and you have an exponent. Here the base is x and the exponent is 3. Here the base is 2 and the exponent is x. Here this 5 and the x are the only thing connected. The 2 is not being raised to the 5th power, so the base is x and the exponent is 5. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Why, you ask? Well, there's a few ways you can think about this. Okay, if you look at this problem right here, if we do this the normal way, anything divided by itself is 1. You just know that. This is x to the 5th over x to the 5th, that's 1. But if you think about it a slightly different way, when you're dividing x to the 5th divided by x to the 5th, you subtract your exponents, and 5 minus 5 is 0. So these two things are exactly the same. They came from the exact same problem. So anything to the 0 power is 1. So the key is knowing what's being raised to the 0 power. So if you look at these problems here, 7 is being raised to the 0 power. Just the 7. So the base is 7 and the exponent is 0. So this is 1. For this problem here, what is being raised to the 0 power? Well, it's just the 4. This negative out in front is just our way of saying negative 1 times 4 to the 0. It's like a shortcut, a shorthand way. So this negative 1 is not being raised to the 0 power. So what that means is this is negative 1 times 1, because 4 to the 0 is 1. So this is negative 1. The whole thing right here, all this parentheses here means everything there is being raised to the 0 power. This is the base. So the base to the 0 power is 1. For this one, that 0 is only connected to the x here. Okay, that 4, just like here, there's parentheses there, there's just none here. So that means that's 4 times 1. Or 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1, and x to the 0 power is 1. So this whole thing, if it's in parentheses, the whole thing is being raised to the 0 power. Okay? So the whole thing, the parentheses here, all of this is being raised to the 0 power. So the bottom is 1. And the top, the only thing being raised to the 0 power is that x. So the 3 stays, so it's 3 times 1. So this whole thing, this answer is simplified, it's just 3. So now negative exponents. Another way to write the base as a fraction. So if you remember, the base is x. Right? So it's just a way of writing a fraction not as a fraction or negative exponents to represent it. So think of it this way. If we were to do this when you first learned this way, if I write these out and I cancel out all the ones that are the same, I'm left with 1 on the top because there's nothing left over here over x squared. But if I do this using our exponents rules, and it is division, I do 3 minus 5. And 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So x to the negative 2 power is the same as 1 over x squared. And that's how exponents, negative exponents, work. So let's go over this a little bit more. Right? To do this, we put 1 under the base if it's not a fraction yet. Then make the exponents positive. If the base is on the bottom, move it to the top. This base is on the top, move it to the bottom. I think yours might be a little bit prettier than this. It's all good. I believe they're the same questions. So a to the negative 6 power. So you're asking yourself, what is being raised to the negative 6 power? Well, it's just that a. So I'm going to make this a fraction and say, okay, this is on the top right now. This negative means it's in the wrong place. That's all a negative means. The negative exponent means I'm in the wrong place. So there's a top and there's a bottom. It's in the top, it needs to be in the bottom. That's it. So you move things that have a negative exponent to make them positive. So make it a fraction. What's being raised to the negative a power? Well, that's just that 8. I mean, just the y, excuse me. The negative 5, that's not being raised to any power at all, except 1 if you want to go there. So it stays on the top. Y to the negative 8 moves to the bottom and becomes positive. So here, this is being raised to the negative 2 power. Let me just move this down a little. But the negative out here isn't, so the negative 1 stays on the top. This 2x moves down to the bottom, and this 2 becomes positive. Now I can actually do the math now. I can square both of these, so it would be negative 1 over 4x squared. For this one, the negative 7 is telling us that that x is in the wrong place. So when it's in the wrong place, it goes to the other one. So it was in the bottom, now it goes to the top. And that's it. So it's just x to the 7th. All right, so I hope that's good, and we'll do this a little more tomorrow. Have a good day.